This tale is on a young girl who saw she was not as lone as she once thought. It was near night when Claire sat to read in her room. She had her room on the top ground of her kin's house, her desk by the glass. When she turned her light off to rest, Claire saw odd stuff out there. A guy was still in the glow across the street. He did not move, just looked up. At first, she thought he was there for a pal. But the more she saw, the more she knew. His eyes were set right on her glass. She tried to not mind it, went back to her bed. But she had to look once more. When she did, fear hit. The guy was not by the glow now. He stood at the walk's edge. Claire shut the shade fast, hands shook. She sat still, heard the hush in her room. Time went. Then, a soft tap-tap sound. Like nails on glass. The noise was from her glass. With guts, Claire moved the shade a bit, and her blood went cold. The guy's face was there, on the glass. But that can't be. She was up on the second ground. Claire yelled and fell back, hit a chair. When she looked once more, the glass was clear. No face. No man. Just none. The street was still, so still. To this day, Claire can't say how that man got to her glass, or why he looked at her. This next story is about a late-night drive, and an unexpected passenger. It was past midnight when Daniel finally finished his shift. He worked late hours at a small diner, and the drive home took him down a long, empty road surrounded by woods. The night was silent, except for the steady hum of his car engine. Daniel felt tired, but he was completely awake, until something in his rearview mirror made his blood run cold. In the faint glow of the passing streetlights, Daniel saw the outline of a figure sitting in the back seat. At first, he told himself it was probably just his jacket, or a shadow from the trees. But when the road straightened and the light hit his car, he saw it clearly. A person, sitting silently in the back seat, head slightly tilted, watching him. Heart pounding, Daniel slammed on the brakes and spun around in his seat. But the back seat was empty. Nothing but silence. Shaking, he turned the wheel and kept driving, convincing himself it was his imagination. Maybe exhaustion from the late shift. That's when he heard it. A whisper. Soft, but unmistakable. It came from directly behind his ear. Don't look back again. Daniel's grip tightened on the steering wheel, his knuckles white. His eyes stayed locked on the road, too afraid to even glance at the mirror. Every mile felt longer than the last. Finally, he pulled into his driveway and parked under the safety of his porch light. Gathering courage, Daniel turned on the interior light and spun around. The back seat was empty, but there was something he couldn't explain. The faint smell of... Hotels are supposed to feel safe, but one traveler learned that sometimes, the room next door hides more than just another guest. Emily was traveling for work when she checked into a quiet roadside hotel. The lobby was nearly empty, and the receptionist gave her the key to room 204. As she walked down the dimly lit hallway, she noticed something strange. Room 205's door, right next to hers, was open just a crack. Inside, she thought she saw someone standing completely still, watching. But when she looked again, the door closed by itself. Later, in bed, Emily tried to relax. But from the room next door, she began hearing noises. Not the usual TV or muffled conversation. Instead, it was soft, irregular tapping, like fingernails against the wall. She tried to ignore it, until a voice whispered through the wall. "I know you can hear me." Emily froze, heart pounding. She turned off the lamp and lay still, hoping it was just someone messing around. But the whisper came again, louder this time. "Why did you take my room?" Suddenly, there was a knock on her door. 3 slow, deliberate knocks. Emily held her breath, staring at the handle, terrified it would turn. After what felt like forever, the knocks stopped. She grabbed her phone and called the front desk. But the receptionist calmly told her, "Ma'am, room 205 is vacant. It hasn't been booked in weeks." Gathering her courage, Emily slowly opened her door and looked down